Hey dudes, I'm Hilah, and today on Hilah Cooking's Christmas Around the World series, we are celebrating Colombia, and I'm going to show you a recipe for Buñuelos Navideños. The recipe comes from Christina. They're like savory donuts. I love them so much. I'm so glad that she shared this recipe with me, and now I can share it with you. To make the buñuelos batter, in this bowl I've got some cornstarch. I think in Europe it's called corn flour. It's this. It's not cornmeal, it's not polenta. It's really, really fine, almost like talcum powder texture. I've got some of that, and I've got a little bit of tapioca starch or manioc or yuca. It goes by a lot of different names, so that's what you're looking for. It's got a very similar texture to the cornstarch. It looks about the same, like baby powder. So I've got those in there along with some baking powder and sugar and salt. I'm going to add some milk and egg that I'll beat up together. Okay, I'm actually not going to add that just yet. For the cheese part, we'll add that first. What is it? Queso costeña, I think, is the Colombian cheese that's used. I cannot get that here, so Christina suggested that queso cotija, which is like a Mexican cheese, would be a good substitute. So I've got a block of that here. Sometimes you can get cotija cheese that's already grated, and it kind of looks like that Parmesan, that dry Parmesan, like in a little green canister. You can use that. It's got a nice fine texture, but it's going to be a little bit drier than the stuff that comes in a block. So I'm going to use the block cheese and I'm grating it just on the really fine holes of a microplane. Cotija is similar to a really dry feta, very salty, dense kind of cheese. So you could maybe use some feta also if you can't find this. So I'll add this to my dry stuff. They're so unusual because they're not sweet, but they're usually served with a custard called natilla or with a hot chocolate. So yeah, but gosh, I don't even need anything with them except some drinks. They're really good drinking snacks, guys. And then you just want to get your hands in there and start mixing this together. Gosh, it sounds weird. It's like squeaky. And if there's any bigger lumps of cheese, just kind of squish those with your hands. Eventually, we want to form a really smooth dough. Probably should take off your rings before you get any further along. I'm going to make a little well and dump that in. Get it started with a fork. And then get this mixed up with your hands. And the finished product, if you've ever had the Brazilian cheese bread, the pan de queso, that's like baked and it's made out of tapioca starch and cheese, this is really similar in flavor, but of course it's fried, so maybe it's a tiny bit more delicious. Tiny bit more milk. Oops. Let's see what that does. It's all an experiment, guys. Okay, that's better. It almost feels like clay. It kind of feels cool to your hands. So now we'll just start pinching off balls. A little bit smaller than an egg, maybe like a golf ball or something, maybe even a little bit smaller than that. You want to make sure that when you're cooking them, the inside gets cooked through without the outsides getting too dark. Just kind of cup your hands really tight around it to try to get it as round of a ball as you can and compress it like that. Once your balls are rolled, you want to heat up about 2 to 3 inches of oil to about 325. It's a little bit low. Fry like 4 at a time or something. And they'll sink, and then they'll start to float, and then they'll start to get really nice and brown. Okay, so my buñuelos are ready. They're nice and golden brown. If you notice that your buñuelos start to crack open, that means that your oil is probably too hot, so just keep it low. Even a little bit below 325 is okay. And these took about 10 minutes. They'll cook faster, hotter, but then they'll explode and the insides might not be finished. I'll let these cool for a moment before I bite into them. But there you go. I hope you like this Colombian Christmas recipe. Check out my website at hilahcooking.com for this printable recipe and also some other Colombian recipes. Muchas gracias, Christina, for the recipe. It's so good and we've really enjoyed it. And if you're still in the market for Christmas presents for people that you love, that need to know how to cook, or even just like to chuckle, I have a cookbook that is for sale that you can buy for your people. It's got drawings in it and recipes. All right, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a great holiday season. And oh wait, I gotta taste one. So the outside is really, really crispy, and then the inside is nice and soft and pillowy, like almost like an angel food cake or something. Look at that. Look at that nice thick crust on there. It's so yummy. These are awesome. Way to go, Colombia. Buñuelos are badass. Thank you so much. Bye.